Hello guys, this is Kong, and today I'm going to do a movie review on Doctor Strange. So, Doctor Strange, just the gist of the story is basically he got into an accident, went over the cliff and broke both of his hand, and he's trying to find the best medical way to bring back his hand, where he can stretch and be I would say a neurosurgeon or a surgeon of some sort, probably brain surgeon that require hand movement and dexterity. That's the word for it. So let me start off with the pros. The pro is I love the visual, the whole the building are constant. The building keeps changing, rotating, changing. Different plane of views and everything is like Rubik's cube, that sort of thing. If you know what I'm talking about, it's like always constantly changing. So I like that it's a simple story. It's about a man who got into an accident. He lost the feel of his finger. I mean, he can still feel, but not the way he used to be, and he's desperate to look for a cure for his loss of dexterity, the loss of who he was prior to the crash. So he's a man who's basically lost and trying to salvage anything he can from it, and he really can't. Physically, he can't bring that back, and that's where the journey takes him to go find the Ancient One and to learn their way of healing the body. So I love the action. The action is great. The spear, the fighting. It was good. It was good enough for an origin story. And I love the motivation of our character. About Doctor Strange, how he's desperate to find a cure or find a way to learn the way of healing, and he was willing to go all out to dedicate his time and effort into learning, and that shows who he is, especially the person he is. Prior to the accident, he was a doctor. He went to college, went to medical school, he did his residency. That sort of a dedication. When you find in most doctors, psychiatrists, they have that dedication to their profession. So he was dedicated to finding the cure or, learning the way of healing, And I like the humor. The humor weren't often, but it was sprinkled enough across the movie where, it was in most right places throughout the movie. You understood the joke, and there was some physical joke with his red cape would wipe his tears, that sort of thing, where it was kind of ingenious. It's really ingenious to do that sort of thing, that the cape is active, is actually sentient, it knows how its host is feeling. So that's what's I like the humor. That's the thing that is consistent about Marvel movies, is that there is some humor and there's some fun in it. There's some upside to it. There's some good things about life, and I like that is the movie is true to its origin, true to the comic material, most of it, except for the Ancient One. We'll get to that. So I like that the ending is different. It's not like the end of the world is gonna crash. Well, in the movie, the end of the world was coming, but it was a different take. It was done differently than all these other Marvel movie or comic movies that we've seen in the past years. So it was different. I really liked that. I appreciated that, because all these other world ending, we see it all, and it's like something a little bit different. Something that's different from the rest. And that was a good take, and I appreciated it did that. So now I'm going to move on to the con. The con is the the villain, our main villain, uh, he's not the bad dude. He just misled and misinterpreted the world. It's just, I mean, I understand that he's a good enough villain, but he wasn't a villain enough to be worthy. You know, I guess for an origin maybe is good enough. So the movie overall felt a little short because it's an origin movie. I like it a little bit longer because I like to see a little bit more of Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange has always been one of my character that I always intrigued about, you know, because he's had the power of magic. You know, there's so much you can do with magic, different dimension and everything. So I kind of wish it was just a little bit longer. Maybe explain the different, maybe give us a little different plane of dimension and that, or fight scenes or something. You know, another con is our ancient one is a white Caucasian woman. So it kind of disappointed me because in the comic book he's actually Asian. I believe he's Asian, and it kind of contradict me. It kind of contradict itself because the ancient one lived in Nepal, and it's an Asian country, and the ancient one is Caucasian. It just, that's the one thing it kind of like draw me away from the movie because, you know, you have the main character is Caucasian, is white, and then you have Moro who's African American, black, and then you have Mr. Master Wong, and then you have a white Caucasian. I wish they would have cast that differently. Even though she did a really good job, it still draw me out from a little bit out of it because magic is still you relate magic to Asian country, you know, that the mystic, the spell binding things, magic, the supernatural, you know, you relate that to Asian cultures, and then when you have an Asian one who's Caucasian, it just throw a little disbelief, in my opinion. Those are only a few things that I can really think that are not really bad. It's just, you know, they could have fixed that, you know, in casting, and they could have make it longer in the production. So what the moral of the story would be, basically, when something happened to you in life, whether an injury, whether that's a job loss, or whatever the case may be, is that it was meant to be, and you have to embrace it with love, embrace it with happiness, and then move on. And that sometimes the old way isn't the way to the old way is not the old ways anymore. You have to invite a new way of life into your life. And that's kind of what I took away. And then another thing I took away from this movie was you cannot cheat death. Death come to every one of us who are human, all of us, that we can't cheat death. And knowing that death will come in to us in any time, is that we must spend the time with those who we love and care and cherish about. And that's the thing that I took away from this movie, was to cherish those who are in our life. And then the thing, and I appreciate that, because a lot of these Marvel movies, you don't really see the moral or the message under the action, the sequence, and everything. And I was surprised that Doctor Strange were able to pull or put that subliminal message into the action sequence. And this is probably the only one I really picked out, you know, from the movies. Suggestion that I would make to the director or the writer would be a better villain, you know, more devious, more mischievous, more plot. He's a plot maker, you know. Learn more of the art of magic, you know. That's kind of the thing I wish they would have done. Maybe he could have like stole one of the book and went away from another dimension and actually learned the magic of the dark side. And that would have been a great idea, And you have Doctor Strange. He's the light, the light of the magic, the magic, and you have the bad guy is the master of darkness, and then you have the good versus evil, and then you have Dormammu, who's in the background, who's also a big bad guy, but then you also make this bad guy also really bad too, So maybe they could have done that was make him cast him away into an offside for like 20 years, and all he did was just study the art of black magic. Maybe they could have done that, and that will reinforce his witchcraft, his magic craft, of crafting magic in the real world. That he is actually a person who could stand up to or can beat the Ancient One. So, and I wish there was more magic fight. I love to see more magic fight, more of the shape-shifting world. Maybe fight in a different reality. That would have been cool, a different plane of existence. Not existence, but different dimension. Maybe more summoning of astral creatures, that would have been more interesting. I know that would result a bigger budget needed, but that's something to throw out for next Doctor Strange sequels or next movies, That would have been interesting to see that, the world of magic, there's so much potential or so much that you can do with it. So the score, I would give this movie an 8 out of 10. It's definitely an 8 out of 10. It's different from the rest of the Marvel movie, along with Guardian of the Galaxy, the Ant-Man, and this one, Doctor Strange. These are, I like them because they're different from your standard Marvel movie. They're an origin movies that totally different, and I like that. I like difference. So again, guys, thank you for watching my videos. Please like, thumbs up, subscribe to my YouTube channel. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for your time and effort to watching my videos. Thank you.